Welcome to another video from Gweilo 60. Every once in a while I get inspired by comments that I get on my channel. And I got a comment from an American guy named John here, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. And he was saying, well, Gweilo, can you go get some pictures of this park where my daughter was abandoned in? And I thought to myself, yeah, I can do that. So I came over to this park, Sinchu Park, behind me, and we're going to be walking in there in a minute to take some pictures. And I thought, no, why don't we make a video about this? You know, it's one of those things that China isn't always right. Sometimes the American is right. It's not all about China. It's not all about doing a pro-Chinese video. Just about trip. Gotta be the brandy. You know, so the thing is that China can be a very scary world. Anywhere in the world can be a very scary world. And for an infant, it can even be scary. It's scary for us adults, and sometimes we have a hard time just figuring out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and you know what I mean? But that said, something good came out of something really bad. A couple of years ago, or a number of years ago, a little girl was abandoned in this park. Why? I don't know. The mother couldn't deal with it. Maybe college student from the countryside, parents didn't know. There's 1,000,001 different reasons why stuff like this happens. But when that door closed on that little kid, when the parent abandoned the little girl in this park, a window opened, because there was a family in the United States looking for that exact little child. The world can be difficult sometimes, and when this little child was left on her own in this park, it probably made her life better. What do I mean by better? Well, the idea that the parent would leave a child, abandon a child, makes me believe 110% that that parent would not be a good parent, and the child's future would be bleak, to say the least, or not as good as it could be. When an American family stepped up and took this child in as their own, it changed that child's life for the better. There's opportunity in the West. There's education. There's health care. There's all of these things. And there's the love of the family. See, if a parent is going to abandon that child, there's not going to be that love in that family. So that little kid got super lucky. We came across the same thing, not a child, no, a kitten. And my wife, Wei Fong, being the sort of mother figure that she is, she found this little kitten, and I'll show you a picture here of when we found her, or when Wei Fong found her, and her eyes were so infected she couldn't open them. She had open sores, infected open sores all over her body, and we didn't think that she was going to make it. But now you wait and see the next pictures and clips and video that I'm going to be showing, and you can see she turned into a little tiger. The world is a strange place, and things happen for a reason. I believe that 100%. And the idea that this little child found a forever home in the United States because there was a family out there that cared, is simply amazing to me. It's one of those things that it gives you hope, and what a beautiful park. Nice place to be left. And I think the parent probably left the child in this park because there's a lot of older people, there's a lot of parents with little children, especially on the weekend. So the child would only be left alone for a very short time period. So there was probably that, I'd say, guilt and hoping that that somebody would come along very quickly and make sure that the child was cared for. Well, that's my hope anyway. But John, the guy that, and I'll leave the last names out of it because, it's a private thing. It's one of those things that it's their business and nobody else's. I just thought that it would make a really good story and show you that it's not all about pro-China. It's not all about pro-United States or pro-UK. There's bad people in the States. There's bad people in China too. There's good people in both countries, but you have to understand that there's things happen, and people are who they are and what they are because of their circumstances. I would imagine that this young mother, and I'm assuming that it was a young mother, couldn't deal with it and figured that the child would have a better chance at life with another family. And little did she know that that family would come from the other side of the world. Now on to the tiger in the family. My God, this cat has grown. When we got this cat could not see. Seriously, it was basically blind. It would walk into walls or stagger into walls. It would eat and then crawl into its little bed and go to sleep. Why? Because it didn't have the energy to do anything else. It would stand up and then fall over and then just lay there because it didn't have the energy to stand up again. When we fed it, well, I'm hoping that I can find that clip when Wei Feng was feeding it, and that was about 3 days after he got it. And this little sucker was hungry all the time and super hungry all the time, so it hadn't been fed properly. But when they left this cat on the street, this little kitten on the street, I would imagine it would be 2 days old, maybe 3 days old. They left it with a little thing of noodles. Yes, rice noodles. So this is the food that they left for this little kitten, some rice noodles. Probably made them feel good in their heart that they left this little kitten on the side of the street with some food. Food that a cat won't eat, mind you, but still food. So this is their way of making themselves feel better. So, as I say, not all Chinese people are good-hearted. Not all, there's bad in every community, and this is just two of the stories that I know of personally that show that not everybody's a good person. It doesn't matter the country. There's a lot of good people in China. There's a lot of people with big hearts in China. Hard-working, industrious people. But the one that left the cat obviously was not a person of good character. I can't say about the mother because there's so many circumstances that can make you do something like that. And I think I'd like to believe that the mother thought that by doing this, the child would have a better life. That's my take on it. Because this video has to do with youngsters and hardship and the good that came out of that hardship. Youngsters being a cat and a little girl. Yes. Gweilo 60's Patreon account has been turned into a Helping Hands account for rural poor children in China. And your pledges on the Patreon account go directly to these kids. I make sure personally of all of this. So if you've got a couple of bucks, and I know you do, stick a couple of bucks on the Patreon account each month. It's for little kids that just need a helping hand. Make me proud, guys. One of the things that make me proud are people will send comments into my channel and tell me about their hardships, the things that they've done, the things that they've been through, the things that their child in this instance has been through, and sort of confide in me through my channel. And I don't think there's any other YouTube channel out there in China that people do that. So in this video, for once, for the first time, I'm pro-American, just because John and his family did the right thing and made a little girl's life better. Thank you. Anyway, that's another video from Gweilo 60, a short video from Gweilo 60. If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button, and thanks for watching. Bye now.